Hello guys, welcome back to Frontier Patriot for a very special Chew and Chat.
Is it?
Yes it is, and you know why, because we have finally reached 100,000 subscribers here on Frontier Patriot, which I never thought was possible.
Yay! Thank you everybody! 100,000 subscribers on Frontier Patriot. Oh my gosh, I've never had that many friends in my life. The pressure! Oh, but thank you so much. It's amazing.
I never thought it would grow any more than maybe 2,500, to be honest with you, when we first made this. And it's been going for 3 years now. July of 2021, we put out the first video here on Frontier Patriot to show you guys another side of us, other than what you see on Early Americans. So here we get to talk and let our hair down and have fun. Over there we do the more serious educational type stuff, but you guys know we don't talk over there mostly, so because all of you guys around the world are watching you might not understand English.
Oh, yes.
But here we try to give you a behind the scenes look and have a little bit of fun. And the first video was actually put out by Justine. She did like a hodgepodge kind of like compilation of things that we have done that summer.
Oh yeah.
And put that out. That was our first video that was out on Frontier Patriot. And here we are now, over 100 videos later. I don't even know how many videos we've put out. We put out one a week and it's been 3 years, so how many weeks are there? 52, so 150-ish videos maybe?
I'm very proud of you, Ron, for reaching
you.
100,000 subscribers.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you.
Well,
we're a team.
Yep, teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
So we're going to celebrate with some cake, or is it cake?
It's
is
pie.
It? Or is it pie? It's cheesecake. What is it?
Is cheesecake really a cake? I mean, there's no flour in it. It's more of a pie, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And it looks like a pie. I mean,
it
sits in a crust. Now, nowadays, Americans use a graham cracker crust, which is a truly American invention from the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the 1800s, they didn't have that yet. So instead, for the cheesecakes, they used puff pastry. And so it turned out like this. It looks like a really deep dish cheese pizza.
Very flaky. I love puff paste, like a croissant or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Stop
so good.
breaking my crust.
I gotta show them how flaky it is.
Ron, stop. But you know what's really weird about this cheesecake, which is from 1828, by the way, almost 200 years old? It's a rice cheesecake.
There's rice in it.
A rice cheesecake. Why can't we just have good things? What is this?
I've never had a textured cheesecake, if you will.
We've already tried this. I've already shared with Ron my opinion of this 200-year-old rice cheesecake from an American receipt. I had a piece of paper here, and I dropped it. One sec. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
This is the full name of the book that I got this receipt from. Modern Domestic Cookery and Useful Receipt Book, adapted for families in the middling and genteel ranks of life, enlarged and improved, with specifications of approved patent medicines extracted from the records of the Patent Office in London, consisting of all the most serviceable preparations for domestic purposes, forming a library of domestic knowledge and useful economy. Published in New York, originally published in 1828.
Wow. That is the longest title ever.
That's a title. All these old books have very long titles because they wanted to sell it to you. Nowadays, it's just like you're in the store and it says,
Cookbook.
The cookbook. Nancy's Southern Cookbook. Grandma Sue's Recipes. Well, that ain't going to sell nothing in the 1800s, so you have to really spell it out to them and be like, this has medicine in it, it has cakes, it has breads, it has pies, it has savory, and all that.
Wow.
New York.
Impressive.
Is this the original New York cheesecake then?
I would say so. This is the first New York cheesecake.
But it don't look anything like a New York cheesecake.
It doesn't taste anything like it either.
It's not a New York cheesecake. You know, that's a different invention that came later down the road, but it is a cheesecake from New York.
Yes. And if you want to see Justine make this cheesecake, please go over to our main channel. That's Early American. Over there, we cook it.
And here we eat it.
And here we eat it, except for today. We took a bite of it on Early American, and then now we're here to talk about the way it tastes.
We're going to review it for you guys.
Yes, so let's get into this.
Let's review it.
It looks like a pudding.
It does look like a pudding.
We've had rice puddings on the shows here before.
Plenty.
And they're always fantastic.
There were a lot of rice recipes in America in the early 1800s and the 18th century as well because of the rice plantations down south. Nowadays, we don't think of rice and America, even though the rice that I used in this receipt was actually grown in America, and a lot of rice that's sold in America is actually grown in the United States still.
Oh, wow.
But we associate it with Asian cooking now. But this is American through and through as well. I mean, we've loved rice for hundreds of years as well, and it grows very good down in the Carolinas.
This crust is really good.
Thank you. Ugh. Okay, to be honest with you guys, I don't like it.
I'm on the fence.
It's weird.
It has a good flavor, but it's, I don't know, maybe if it was cold, I'd like it more. I'm a cold dessert guy, you guys know that. But, I don't know.
It tastes like rice custard, and they're daring to call it a cheesecake.
It's a little eggy. It has too many eggs in it, I think. And they should have called for more spice. Because I don't really taste the spices in it. I'm getting just a hint of the brandy, though.
That's true. It's very plain. So I did make one change to this, and I think it would have been even worse if I did the original. I have this weird thing in my brain where nutmeg tastes like soap to me. Ron doesn't understand. He says it doesn't taste like soap to him, but to me it tastes like soap. So the only spice in this dessert was nutmeg. Literally the only thing. Not only that, but it said to use an entire nutmeg's worth of nutmeg.
Hey, oh, you just said it 3 times. He's going to show up now.
Oh.
Apparently, when you say the word nutmeg 3 times, there's a whistle in the wind and a twinkle in the stars, and John Townsend shows up. Where's he at? We said it 3 times.
That don't work, Ron. There is no John Townsend's here.
John, where are you? John! Alright. I'm gonna have to break out the nutmeg dance to get him.
That was good.
Alright, hopefully that brings him here.
That was good. But I'm team cinnamon.
But he don't like
It's a
cinnamon.
word I can't
He
say.
likes nutmeg.
I'm team cinnamon, and I'm going to show you how it's done. Well, who won? Cinnamon or nutmeg?
I think yours is pretty good, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Either way, I did not put nutmeg in this cheesecake. I swapped it out for cinnamon. I'm sorry, I had to do it, or else it wouldn't be edible to me. But I agree with Ron. It's very plain. I added probably a tablespoon's worth of cinnamon in here. I mean, I couldn't add it anymore. It just would have been weird. But something about it, it's just very plain.
I want to like it. It's beautiful. And the texture is nice, actually. It's nice and chewy, you know, whatever a cheesecake consistency is. It's chewy, gooey, and
But it
comforting.
does have bits of rice in it, which is also throwing me off.
It's the taste that's just getting to me.
There's no vanilla in it, like modern cheesecake has. I'm just not into it.
It's also really hot out here. It's
96 degrees.
It's 96 degrees, and it's 100% humidity. Yes, I'm wearing a vest this week, but it's so my shirt don't look nasty because underneath this vest, my shirt is soaked.
It's
so,
proper, too.
Yes,
He
it's
can't
proper,
be seen
and I'm
with that.
trying to hide the fact that I am soaking wet.
Oh, lovely.
This towel.
You should put an ice pack underneath your waistcoat.
I should.
So what would you rate this cheesecake from 1828? Very basic receipt. It's just cinnamon and a little bit of brandy, and that's literally it that's giving it flavor.
I'm giving this a 3.
Oh.
On the taste factor. On the looks factor, it gets a 10.
A 3. That's pretty bad. Okay. I would also give this maybe a 2 or 3.
That's even worse.
How about a 2.5? I'll go in the
2.5.
I'll go in the middle there. Appearance-wise, it's very beautiful. It looks like a deep dish cheese pizza.
It just needs more. It does look like a cheese pizza.
It does.
That's why it makes me want to eat it. But I don't want to eat it because I know it don't taste
It's not like
good.
a modern cheesecake at all. I mean, the texture inside, it's just not it. Have you ever actually made a modern cheesecake before?
I've not.
But what's in a modern one, do you know? Cream cheese?
Cream cheese.
Which this does not have cream cheese in it.
Whipped cream, maybe? Sour cream? I don't know. I've never. You bake it, so I don't know.
I think cream cheese is what's the answer here. When you try this, you're going to be missing two things that remind you of a modern day cheesecake: cream cheese and a graham cracker crust or some kind of cookie, some kind of cookie crust.
Yeah, maybe
like
that's
Oreo crust or whatever. That's just what we associate with being a modern day cheesecake, but this tastes more like a quiche with rice in it.
Ah.
It's very eggy. It's very buttery.
You might be on something there.
It needs cream cheese. The pastry is fantastic.
This is a rice quiche.
It is a rice quiche with a hint of cinnamon. So it's not what I would say. Oh yeah, it's a cheesecake. It needs a little bit more work.
And it's a shame because when you were making this, I was thinking this is really going to be good, and you thought so too. We thought this is going to be actually really good.
How could it fail?
But yeah, it's just meh.
It's just meh.
Like, who cares?
Meh.
Why would anybody make this?
Yeah, it's just meh. It needed to cook for another 200 years.
It's because you didn't use the nutmeg, I'm telling you.
Sure, I'm sure that's the reason. It was missing the soapy flavor.
The nutmeg god has spoken. You've offended Mr. Townsend, and this is what happens.
Is anyone out there, do you also find that nutmeg tastes like soap to you, or am I just a complete mutated freak of nature?
I feel like we go through this every time there's a receipt that has nutmeg in it. You say, oh, it tastes like soap.
Tastes like soap. There's something wrong in my... If I had dinner at Townsend's house, it would be bizarre because everything would have nutmeg in it. And if he had dinner at my house, it would be bizarre because everything would have rose water, and I heard that he hates rose water.
Oh yeah, it's funny because you love rose water, he hates rose water, he loves nutmeg, but you hate nutmeg.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
And he'll distinctly tell you, I'm putting water in it because I don't like the rose water.
Well, we all can't be
perfect. And you put cinnamon in it because you don't like nutmeg.
I hate nutmeg. I know there's going to be people on my channel that are going to hate on me. You're going to say, well, you ain't sticking to the original receipt. But heck, 200 years ago, if you didn't like the ingredient, either you would have swapped it out.
Or if you didn't have it.
Yeah, but but either way, I stuck to the basics of the receipt. I'm just not a fan of it. But it's definitely worth trying out if you're a historical cook.
Yeah.
It's a unique receipt, and it's part of food history to see how cheesecakes have evolved.
And maybe it's good cold. Maybe it's better cold. Who knows?
By the time you get to the late 1800s, post-Civil War, that's when you start to see more modern-looking cheesecakes. And by the time you get to the early 20th century, okay, we're there. You got cheesecakes.
You also got refrigerators.
You got refrigerators, and
everything has changed cooking-wise.
Yeah, that does help.
You know what hasn't changed since the beginning of time? Bubbles. Bubbles have been around since the ancient times, since soap has been invented. But the earliest depiction I can find is from 1560.
This is just another way to celebrate that we have 100,000 subs. That's a blown glass tube.
Why are they not big bubbles?
I have a metal one.
This is lame.
That's all I had.
Maybe there's too much. Let's see. I think the thicker the soap, the bigger the bubble it makes. And some of these paintings, they're blowing huge bubbles.
Oh.
And you can see they're blowing them out of straws as well. So it's not like we know today where there's I'll call it like a wand with holes in it where you swing it back and forth.
No, you gotta blow on it. Yay, 100,000 subs! Yay! Oh, that didn't work out.
Here, let's try it at the same time. See if we can make a bunch. On the count of 3. 1, 2.
None came out of mine!
We're not very good at this.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks.
You know, we've been on a roll lately with the good food. The last week's video and shoot chat, we had some roast chicken, lemon chicken, and we had salad, and we had cornbread, which was so-so, but the rest of it was amazing. And then the one before that, we made the best ketchup I've ever had in my life, past or present. And by the way, I've been eating on that ever since that video. And I just finished it yesterday.
We gotta make some more.
It lasted for 2 weeks. So if you're wondering how long this lasted before it got moldy, I got 2 weeks out of it, and it tasted as good as the day I made it. I had a cork in it, real good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
fine.
Yeah, so after 2 weeks, finally we got one that wasn't very good.
Let's try one more time.
Well, hopefully next week it'll be better.
I think we just need thicker soap. Oh. I used to be good at it when I was a kid, but I think they've changed the soap. They've watered it down. They're cheating us.
It's a conspiracy? A soap conspiracy?
Even though it only costs $1 for it. Actually, I could have just made it, I guess. I bought it for the wand, but the wand didn't work either. Man.
flying up that high? Is that a bird? Man.
Sometimes they get pretty loud around here.
Leaving the house is scary.
I think I woke up the wasp.
Yeah, there's a wasp's nest in
Watch
that
your
lantern.
hand. Don't put your hand up. He's on the outside of the lantern. He'll sting you. He'll think you're swatting at him. Oh, man.
Why is everything we do have to be riddled with danger?
I don't know.
Why are we sitting in front of a wasp nest, eating a cheesecake that tastes like absolute garbage?
Actually, I'll tell you why, because this is the most dangerous cooking show on the internet.
That's
Early
right.
American.
That's right, it is. Man, it is 96 degrees out here. I had people last week telling me, just open the window. Look, when it's 96 degrees outside,
It sucks no matter
opening the window is not the answer. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. It's hot no matter what. But I'm super grateful to be here with you guys anyway.
Yes, and thank you again for those of you who are coming late. If you're here late, go back to the beginning and watch it. We blew these little tube thingies and we mentioned we hit 100,000 here on Frontier Patriot. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Our most popular video. You know what our most popular video was?
What is it?
Is the 1820s medicine for the poor when I'm sick. And I was really sick in that video, and I think that's why it's so genuine and you all love it.
Because he was really
I was on the floor, and I was actually on the mend the day we filmed that, but laying on the cold floor,
It made him sick again.
Yes, I relapsed.
It wasn't the cinnamon sticks up the nose
No.
that did it.
And
No.
let's see, our first chew and chat was the sausage and apples video. That one has over 200,000 views. It's insane.
Wow, I still love that receipt. By the way, guys, I'm starting a new series on Early American on the community tab. If you've never checked out my community tab, I post on it all the time.
Now you can only see it from the computer or your phone, not on a TV.
That's right. So it's going to be about American folk art. So I'm going to share every week or so, maybe every other week. I'm not sure. It might be a little random. I'm going to share pictures of a certain type of American folk art. So for the last 2 weeks, it's been redware and the way that we decorate it. And the next post I'm going to make is about something called pie safes.
Pie safes.
Pie safes, which is a Pennsylvania invention. And what is a pie safe? It's a cupboard with punched tin.
Don't give it away.
Usually decorative. And you would keep your pies in there as they cool down, hence the name. But you could put any food in there to keep the mice and the bugs out, away from it. And pie safes are a huge part of American folk art. I mean, there's so many ways you can decorate them, from the tin to the wood. They sell for top dollar at auctions, the antique ones. People also make new ones to sell. Today we see them for sale every once in a while.
I've made punch tin little cabinets.
Yeah, you have made that. So I'll make a post about that in a couple of days. That's all.
Well, thank you for that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I do have a rather unusual, weird, it is weird this week, it ain't fun, it's weird.
It's weird.
Weird history fact.
A weird history fact. This week's weird history fact. Go! That didn't quite
Where
do
was
what
the
I
bubbles?
wanted it to.
Alright, this week's weird history fact comes to you from Europe, and it's from the 16th, 17th, and early half of the 18th century. A vizard.
Vizard.
Not a wizard. Or, I'm sorry, a vizard.
Have you ever heard of a vizard?
It's a vizard.
It used to be common.
Think of a black hockey ski mask, like instead of that horror movie guy, but he's wearing a black one.
Jason?
Yeah, a vizard, or vizard, or however you want to pronounce it, is an oval mask of black velvet which was worn by women traveling in the 16th, 17th, and early 18th century. They wore it to keep the sun off their face, because if you had a tan face, that means you work outside, that means you're poor, that means you suck. So, so back then, these fancy ladies would cover their face so that they'd be pale, light complected.
If you're poor, you suck.
I mean, what else do you want to call it?
Yeah, so...
I'm not implying that you do, I'm just saying that's what they thought back then.
They didn't have sunscreen back in the day.
This is aristocrat type people, okay?
Yeah, we didn't have sunscreen back in the day. So in order for the ladies to protect their fair complexion from getting a sunburn or a suntan, they would wear a mask over their entire face made out of thick velvet, which was held in place either with strings but more commonly it was held in place by a piece of string that was held in the mouth, which meant that when you were wearing the mask, you actually could not talk properly.
This just sounds stupid. Why would you wear a hat or use an umbrella? They had both of those. They called them something besides umbrellas back
Ron,
then.
you just don't understand.
They don't understand.
A hat does not block 100% of the
Powder
UV
your
rays.
face. Put lard and put more powder if you want to block the sun.
That don't block out the sun.
You look ridiculous. if somebody come riding across the field with a cloak flying and like this black ski mask,
Oh yeah,
but like the
that'd be
devil
scary.
coming from me, I'm taking off
devil.
running.
Well,
and I'm sure that happened. I'm sure many people are like,
Uh-huh.
I seen something. I don't know what it was, and they're
A
like,
demon burner.
yeah.
But it used to be very, very common. I mean, we have dozens of, maybe hundreds of paintings of women. Either they're the focus point of the painting, or they're just in the background of city scenes wearing these bizarre masks.
Now we haven't really seen any reference to it in America, and I don't think it came over here. I haven't seen any paintings yet.
I don't think it came over here. I think it was a purely European practice.
Higher class people
Higher
too.
class. Now, I'm sure that there were some who brought the culture over here, but it never took off.
They said, you're weird, take it off.
And men at the time did actually make fun of this.
I would. You wouldn't know what she looked like. Is she pretty? Is she not? Who are you?
There's one quote that I recall seeing of a guy who referred to a lady as looking kind of like a demon.
Yeah.
Wearing one of them. So they were generally seen unfavorably by those of the male sex, but the ladies still wanted to have fair skin.
Wear a hat. Use a parasol.
You know, talking about okay, that is a weird fact. But anyway, talking about classes, made me think of the title of the receipt book that we got this from this
the
week.
middling and genteel.
Exactly. So the name of the book again is Modern Domestic Cookery and Useful Receipt Book, adapted for families in the middling and genteel ranks of life. Now, what does that mean? Okay, this is the book that we got this week's recipe from. Middling.
Middle class.
That's right. The middling class was comparable to the modern day middle class. Maybe that's why the two words are similar.
Merchants,
The
tradesmen.
majority of people,
Yeah,
honestly.
the majority of
The
people.
majority of people. So what would we have been 200 years ago? Now in real life, we would have definitely been part of the middling class because I'm a colonel's daughter and you're a carpenter.
Yeah.
So if you were a peasant, if you just like worked off the land and you were a poor farmer.
Which in the skits we do on Early American, we would be peasants because I'm just a woodcutter and you're just a maid.
Yeah. Now, not literally peasants, because peasants is more of like a medieval Europe thing. But
We're just poor.
But you would have been very, very poor. But we would have been part of the middling class in real life. In the channel, we also portray people in the middling class. I think people look at this cabin and they assume that we're dirt poor. But in real life, if you were dirt poor in the early 1800s, you would have had a dirt floor. You would not have had glass windows.
That's true.
And you would have had absolute bare bones cookware inside of the house. I think it was even your mom that told me that her grandma, was it her grandma that had a dirt floor?
I think so.
And
yeah.
she swept the dirt floor. And your mom told me that as a little girl, she thought, why would you sweep the dirt floor?
Gotta get the rough dust.
Exactly.
Off to
I
the
mean, it
side.
makes sense to me. But
We've actually been in a few houses where the basements haven't been cemented yet, and they still have dirt inside them. It's well packed.
Oh yeah.
And 200 years later, it's hard as rock, but it's a bare dirt floor.
That's right. So this book was meant to be purchased by people who were middle class, as well as maids of richer families. If you were very, very poor, you did not cook from a store-bought receipt book.
Right.
You cooked from whatever your mom taught you how to do.
And if you're super rich, your maid probably knows how to, or your chef probably knows how to cook, and they may not even use the book. They probably write a book.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
Because the ladies that wrote most of these books were cooks for other people higher in status.
You know, back then, and all throughout the 1800s, this was a common thing in Victorian times too. You would rent out chefs.
Yeah.
So if you were having a dinner party, you would have always, if you were very wealthy, you would have always had a team of people to cook for you and clean for you. But if you were having a dinner party or a ball, you would have rented out a chef, and they were usually French.
It's like catering, but you're not having the food brought to you, you're having the person come cook it for you.
Yeah, come cook it for you in your own house.
Kind of cool, actually. It's like having a personal chef, but you can't afford it all the time, so you save it for like a special occasion. You say, yeah, I'm gonna have my private chef Pierre make a soup for us or whatever, and for your party. That might be a cool idea for those of you who are in the restaurant and catering business, who are more on the upper end of stuff, and you're looking to make a little extra. Maybe if you got some free time, rent yourself out to a party to come. There's some fundraisers that had a chef come to at the Center for French Colonial Life in St. Genevieve, where we work part-time.
Oh, yeah.
And he come down there and did demonstrations, so that's something to think about. Instead of just selling your food for catering, sell yourself to come there and do the, I mean, it's a performance. People like seeing you do the ching, 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 you know, the cool stuff with fire and everything like that. But I'm a simple-minded kind of person, so I'm into that.
If you were rich, Ron, what would you buy?
What would I buy?
Yeah, if you were rich, what would you buy?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Are you serious?
I don't know.
You wouldn't finish building the house?
Well, yeah. I thought you meant like something else.
No, come on. What would you buy if you were rich?
I guess just spend it on getting a house done, more land, I guess, and some horses, and I don't know. I've done given up the hopes of winning the lottery. That was 20 years ago when I was like, oh, if I win, I'm gonna get this. If I win, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna win, I'm gonna get this. I'm not into those things anymore. 'Cause you can't take them with you when you die.
He literally bought a lottery ticket yesterday.
I was feeling lucky.
Okay. Anyway, if I
did win. I won a free ticket.
That's true. You did win
a free ticket.
So if I was rich, clearly I've put more thought into this than you, which says a lot about me.
I've just been. I've done giving up.
That sounds sad.
On the hopes and dreams.
That sounds so
of
sad.
What would I buy if I was rich?
If I was rich, I would buy the land next to our land. I would put real cedar shakes on all of our buildings. Cedar. And I would buy... I would pay for all the wood fencing so that I could have sheep and a couple horses.
That's it?
Well,
nothing else?
I might buy a house in town in St. Gen too. Because there's this house from the 1790s that I really like that's in town, and the current owners are neglecting it. It's literally rotting. Yeah. And I feel a bit sorry for it.
If I won the Powerball, if we're talking that rich, I would buy me another house, a historic house, a real one, like somewhere up in New England where it's nice and cool through the summer, and have a summertime house.
I've never been in New England.
Neither have I.
I would just buy land, and I would buy like things to make a bunch of beehives, so I could have beehives, and I would have animals, and maybe I would buy a house in town, and have real cedar shakes.
Nice. See, 20 years ago it would have been Corvette, maybe a Ferrari.
20 years ago.
But none of that stuff I cared about anymore.
I was a young child.
I was a teenager.
20 years ago. He's 5 years older than me.
I would have been 15.
I would have been 10. 10 years old. 10 years ago, I would have bought this.
Yeah.
Because when I was 10 years old, I had the journal where I would draw my dream farm over and over and over again, and it was always this little tiny cabin with just 2 or 3 rooms in it, and I would have like horses and goats and chickens and mules, and because I was just a little girl, and I don't know, that's the kind of stuff I dreamed about. And it's kind of, sometimes I look at this and I stand back and I think, this is literally exactly what I drew in my sketchbook as a kid.
All jokes aside, seriously though, thank you again for the 100,000 subscribers on here and the over 1 million on Early American. You guys, this cabin, our teamwork, it has brought us the life that we have, and we're able to build the house that we're building. And I just want to say thank you for that. So don't get the wrong idea when we're just sitting here spitballing about winning the lottery or anything like that. We're very grateful for everything that we do have. And
ain't nobody winning the lottery, Ron. It's a dream. It's a fantasy.
Well, I've had enough of this heat. I'm ready to get out of here.
Okay, let's get out of here. By the way, Mish Mish is being kept in a place with AC.
Yes.
Until this heat wave is over. So you might not see much of Mish Mish for a little bit.
He was outside earlier, and he wanted to come inside my parents' house, so we let him in there, and he just passed out on the bed. So
yep.
We're gonna go retreat ourselves too. So thank you guys so much. Very, very flattered and honored and appreciative of the 100,000 here on Frontier Patriot. It means a lot. Thank you guys, and we hope you have a good rest of your week.
Thank you guys. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye bye.